I'm back.
Great. So I believe we should start, right?
Yep, let's do that.
Let me slow down this video a bit. Okay, so welcome on our InsightOps stream. It's the third one already, and today we're gonna talk with Vasyl Leshchuk. He is the founder and CTO of Expand Outreach, which also called in a short way XOR, right? Would it be
Yeah,
correct?
correct.
Yeah. So I'm really pleased to see Vasily here, and the more I want to say that actually we know Vasily for more than I guess 8 years, really.
That's
Since
crazy.
since science, my first job as an SDR, I realized that I have some deliverability questions, and I reached out for head at the time, head of deliverability, and Vasily was really open to answer to me. Since that time, I'm always like, okay, I know the guy, I know a person, an expert who can always solve any possible issues in deliverability. So I have to have this event together. Before we start, I wanna say that everything happening on this stream is straight because of our army in Ukraine. So we're really thankful for it, and encourage you to donate to come back alive. This is international foundation in Ukraine, one of the biggest one. And following of this with this QR code, you can easily go and see some specific projects you want to support on. So if you're against really weapons, you can support medical tactic, etc. So there are lots of those. Please do not hesitate to ask me more questions about it. And let's go back to our event. Vasily, thank you. Thank you for joining today. Overall, I had one of the most popular question in my life when it comes to the cold outreach and outbound. Usually people coming to me and saying, hey, okay, so I'm about to start cold outreach, especially outbound. So what I should do in terms of deliverability, and where I should start, where I should go, or some people come in and say, okay, we're really on spam. There is no way we can come down, like nothing work. We'd better call rather than emails. And so I want to understand and ask your advice. What should we do? Can you please share?
Of course. Thank you for having me. So yeah, that's like a question that I'm hearing a lot. And again, as you correctly mentioned, like usually when people come, like, okay, we have like a lot of problems. Like we feel that we have problems. We don't know what kind of problems we have, but there is something that we should do with that. There is a couple of like basic things that should be done before you're starting your outreach, which is like a must, right? So that would be set up email notification features such as SPF, DKIM, DMARC. This is like the basics. Without that, your emails most probably won't be accepted by any business email systems, right? So we have to distinguish between like a personal email, such as like Gmail, Outlook, and any other services that works in a similar way, and the business emails that using the domains that could use some special spam protecting features. So yeah, first of all, you have to have a clean domain, right? You have to check if that domain doesn't got in any blacklists. Second thing, you need to set up SPF, DKIM, DMARC. Both features are really important. Again, a lot of places where you can get that information right now. Like again, let's be honest. Like the major players is Google and Microsoft. They have like really good guides how to set this up. They're not specifically saying you to do that. Like right, okay, and after you purchasing the account, please do that. No, because would the mail go out? Yes, it will. Will it be delivered to the inbox? No, not always. And you have to attend that like a little bit yourself. You absolutely need to be sure that your domain name leads to a place with at least the landing page, right? So if you don't have like already established website, you should bother yourself with creating landing page, because again, when you're sending, again, as far as I understand, we're talking about like cold email outreach, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so that should be done not just like by the book of the technology. It should be done properly for people to see what you're trying to send, like in the most common sense way,
Hmm.
and it should look professional. Because usually, if you're getting the email, it got in spam, you bother yourself to go in the spam folder, you're actually reading that, which again basically cancels like 50% of whatever goes in your mail, and you're like, yeah, this is something interesting, and basically you're just copy and pasting the domain, right? Going there and finding nothing. So you don't have enough information to trust or even to bother yourself with uh, going forward.
Okay.
So so yeah, that's like the basics.
When you said that DNC and SMTP should be like you can find in internet information. If it be me, for instance, if I decide to look for some information in internet and just use it to adjust my domain, do you feel I can mess it up, or like is it really tricky stuff? Is it one line, or I can mess it up? Definitely.
Uh,
Of course.
so to be completely honest, we in Expanded Reach we saw a couple of clients which are like established names, like again, a couple of years on the market, and they still have those kind of issues.
Hmm.
Which means sometimes even if people have the IT professional on their side, that person might not be like good in that field,
Okay.
because doing the DNS settings for your email system is something that is like one-time job if you're talking about the setup, right? And if you're working with the same system for like a pretty long time, you're not usually making a lot of changes.
Hmm.
So ideally, and again, because that is like one-time setup, I would highly recommend to go to some kind of specialist who can do that for you. Because again, you're paying for that once, or maybe that would be like a part of the service, and then you will not have to do that, at least the email authentication part. Plus, usually those people who will be doing that for you, like us, for example, we are really like to give the recommendations to people like, okay, we did this for you, and you also should look for like some other stuff. And again, that's done. You're finished with the setup. Can
Okay.
you do that? Yes. Again, right now the Chat GPT you can ask, and it will give you like a basic guide. But if you are not sure, like they say, it's better be safe than sorry.
I see. Got it. So better to go on an expert. I have a question regarding that landing page. So imagine we created this landing page specifically for cold outreach. Would it be okay, specifically after all the updates Google mentioned about all the emails should be some specific limits? I would love you to share more in depth because it was announced, but not many people, aware about it. Would it be okay to do cold outreach and do marketing standard emails like transactional emails, etc., from the same domain, or it's better to separate them, or like what is the best practices for it?
That's a great question. So our recommendation is, if you're planning to conduct marketing activities, not just the cold emails. So cold emails, it's like 100%. You should use the marketing infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
because again, if you don't have a specialist on your side, you're not following all the laws. You're not following all the changes in the Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, etc. policies. The one big change was announced by all those actually three vendors, and it was like, pretty much like, what, like, yeah, we will have those changes, and thanks to media, it was blown up, and it was all over the internet. But
Mm-hmm.
they are actually making those changes like regular, and not all of them are like going that crazy public. So it's definitely better to use the marketing infrastructure from several standpoints. Standpoint number one, you want to keep your production and your marketing infrastructure separated.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say you have a web service, you're doing the CRM, you're doing whatever, and you're sending emails. Let's say for some terrible reason you got blacklisted on your marketing domain. That's terrible. That's terrible. You're stopping all your activities. You're going to lose blacklists which mark you. and you're trying to solve your issue.
Persuade
In
them.
the meantime, your businesses keep working.
Okay, I got it.
Imagine yourself, you're having that with your main domain blacklisted. Your customers are trying to get in, and Chrome browser or Edge will tell them, okay, this website spreads phishing, etc. You will have much more problem and reputational damage on your site. Not talking about if domain would be canceled, if anything else more terrible will happen, that would be damage to your production.
It's not just, it reminds me a situation when some bloggers create a mirror Instagram in case they get to be blocked. So they say, okay, guys, it's my second or third one, fourth, but please also follow. So they have a network of domains, but in Instagram. So I see. Okay. And you just mentioned CRM and infrastructure. So it tends me to ask a question regarding, okay, we on the market, there are lots of different CRM sales engagement platforms and other solutions help in outreach. Would it be different? Would it be okay to say that email sent from my Gmail to somebody's Gmail or Outlook manually fully, and the same email to be being sent, let's say, with SalesLoft or any other platform we might use, Salesforce, for instance, are different in terms of how internet sees it and how, I don't know, who actually checking it?
Okay, thanks for the question. So the short answer is yes, and I will explain why. If we're going from the depths of the IT, it's the IMAP and SMTP protocols that are used to send and receive messages. POP3, dying out, but really great protocol anyway.
Okay.
But when you are connecting your mailbox to, let's say, SalesLoft, okay, you name it, I'm using that as example, right? You're using tracking links, you are using like a specific templates with a specific content, with the specific pictures that are placed on the servers of the SalesLoft. So if you want to track down which CRM is used,
yes,
you can easily do that. Even if you created your custom tracking link, that subdomain that is used in those custom tracking links leads to the SalesLoft or any other CRM service. So if any system, for any reason, will decide to follow up and find out from which CRM it was sent, they could do that. Of course, you can play cat and mouse. You can remove tracking. You can remove this and that. You can put like 100% custom template. But again, what is the reason for doing that if you are purchasing a product that's supposed to do that for you? So yes, there is a difference, and it can be tracked, and different content can be accepted differently by different systems.
I see. And are there any? Okay, so we know that it's different. We know that the system which is analyzing every email can see from where I'm sending this email. Can we judge some vendors better or some vendors worse? Like, for instance, let's say CRM system X usually comes to spam, while CRM Y never comes to spam because they have a deal with Google, let's say, or Microsoft or something.
Okay, got it. So again, you named the Google. I will use Google as an example. We all know that all services on our planet sometimes are down, as an example. So each and every CRM might, at a certain point of time, have the worst results than other. You have to remember that those are big commercial products. So if they have those kind of issues, they are trying to sort things out with anyone who is banning them, because usually in like 99% of the cases, there is no intentions on the CRM side to make your emails go to spam. They would be actually more happy for your emails to go to the inbox. And if, let's say, any link or the place, domain, hosting, whatever, where they have their pictures, which you're using your template, let's say that picture causing the problem, They will be the one who will be going out, so like, okay, this is our service. Okay, something happened. We need to check. We want to be delisted as quick as possible. Sometimes it works fast, sometimes not. But like sometimes everybody got caught in those weeks, you know. So you can't clearly say which one is better for cold emails. But in this situation, we have to understand that the majority of those CRMs, like the majority from all the CRMs or engagement platforms, they are more lean to send transactional or promotional emails. That's a total different story. Because cold emails, again, if anyone is watching and working in the same field, everybody knows that this is like a little bit of gray area. In some countries, unsolicited emails are forbidden. In some, they are not forbidden, but you have to be in compliance with the requirements of the law, etc. So for all those CRMs, they're more happy to send your transactional emails, promotional emails, emails to those people who is agreed to get a message from them. So this is their main target. And their infrastructure is basically made to accommodate that. For the several reasons, let's not go deeper in that question, but yeah, that's the idea.
I have a question specifically about Salesforce. I using it. I've read about this monster that they actually consume everything possible inside. So they have endpoint dot and high velocity sales. Now it's slightly different name, but altogether it seems like they are proud of consuming everything possible inside, and they say that they're purely leader and do something absolutely better and different from others. Would you have you ever heard about it? Like, is it true or it's just marketing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Another great example, Salesforce consumed Slack. So this is another sub-brand of Salesforce.
Okay.
And yes, and again, that was a wise decision, because if you see something good, if you're using that good, or if you see that you can sell that, consume that and sell it to other people. Make it better if you have a vision of making it better. But yeah, that was a nice idea, and so far it works really well for them.
I see. Okay, and so we created this landing page, and we managed to find an expert to set up essential stuff like those you mentioned. And after this, usually people come into the, okay, but how I can understand that I have troubles or I don't have troubles? Like how I could measure this in the middle, not coming to the very worst case scenario, my friend saying that I'm in spam. What to use?
So, great question. So, if you have your initial setup correctly, and this is why it's important to have someone who actually knows what they're doing, because the initial setup is basically a syntax, right? It's like how precisely this or that line is copied and pasted or typed in. And if you have like one period in the wrong place, the whole line is not working, right? But let's assume, and again, that's initial setup, right?
Yep.
Let's assume that the initial setup went well. You started your activities. You're doing that however you feel is right. And again, you're using the CRM, I presume, and you have like a certain metrics that are used to measure your campaigns. The open rates, the click rates, bounce messages, etc.
Yep.
So nowadays, the open rates is not that really good of a metrics, because how the protection system works, they can open that email for the recipient, they can check all the information inside, they can download all the tracking pixels, they can open all the tracking links, and you will be thinking that, okay, the message was opened, but actually it was analyzed and went to spam. But again, when you're starting your activities, you have to understand. So in this case, it's really good to understand like the market average. Even better if you know the industry average, because again, depending on the industry, the open rates are different. And get that information and try to stay in at least in that market or industry average. If you see a decline in any of those, if you're seeing increase in the bounce rates, you have to go and do the analysis of those bounce messages, because in each bounce message you have a reason why the message is bounced. Some of them are obvious, like the user does not exist. Okay, fine, great answer, thank you.
Okay.
And some of them just like access denied, which could mean like a couple of reasons. Again, if you will see something like denied by the policy, or considered spam, or like
So
considered.
did I get you right? You're suggesting reading those emails, right? Not
Yeah,
just closing them.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is what I
correct,
was suggested
absolutely.
in the past. Like if
Yeah,
you see there is a bounce email, just don't count it at it, like count it, but also open and read what is inside. Usually there is an
exactly.
answer. Okay.
It is always the information inside. So, and that will give you an insight. So, for example, let's say you're sending on average daily 100 emails. Again, just taking around the numbers, and your usual bounce rate is, let's say, one email. Okay, if that's like your usual for a couple of months, a year, uh, you can, again, if you're not specifically dealing with email delivery and you're like, like manager or something, okay, let it stay there. But if you will see the increase from 1 to, let's say, like 5, 10, 15,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you definitely have to go and read them. Because by reading the reasons of those bounce, you will be able to understand, okay, my leads are bad. My email deliverability is bad. My domain is in trouble. I'm trying to reach the market, which is much harder to reach than others. All of that you can understand by just reading the bounce messages.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there is no place when you can like go to a single place and bow. You see and understand everything. No, you always have to gather from different sources. So you have to analyze like open rates against click rates, against the information about your domain in let's say Barracuda, Mimecast, Proofpoint, what they are saying about your domain name, what kind of reputation you have, like Cisco Talus. Uh, and you have to read bounce messages, and combining all of that information will give an insight on all your troubles. This is actually what we're doing for our clients. They don't have to deal with all of that. We're doing that for them.
Okay, and like while you start saying like Barracuda and all that sub names, I like okay, it sounds like an additional position or additional training for an SDR at least, or head of SDRs. I see. Diving deep. So there is like what I understand. So there is no specific easy tool that can say me, hey, you're in trouble, or it still exists. Like I see some marketing always, sharing information like, hey, just download, not download, but pay subscription. You can always send an email and you will get back information about your server, your like overall. So they sometimes even say, so you can go to expert. Like if you see that you're in a trouble, you can. Would you suggest to use those?
So there is a couple of tools that are actually giving you like an insight on your domain and the mail delivery situation. There is a couple of applications that can make you so-called email delivery prediction tests, such as well-known Glock apps test and similar to them. For example, to monitor your domain and like reputation and delivery metrics, you can have a mail monitor or
Mm-hmm.
and similar software. Uh, to to go and purchase that software, I would highly recommend you to have a consultancy session with someone to whom you will tell what is your business and what you want to achieve specifically with like any monitoring software, right? And let me explain why. For example, if we're talking about Mail Monitor, an absolutely fantastic tool, right? There is like a couple of competitors, but Mail Monitor, I had experience working with them, a really good tool. But they are more lean to work with enterprises monitoring, like one domain, just a couple of IP addresses, etc. So
Okay.
they more lean to protect you when you have like just like several ways, several IP addresses, several domains, because like you can purchase bigger subscription to follow as many as you want.
Mm-hmm.
But again, in your case, if you're doing cold email outreach for like, well, you made me an example, and I'm saying,
Yeah, example was a small one. Yeah, true.
yeah. If you're doing that for several clients, the mail monitor might not be the best solution for you, because your return on each client is not that big as the subscription might be, the subscription cost for the mail monitor. On the other hand, you have Glock apps, which is cheaper, and you can basically use it to make those email delivery predictions
Okay.
uh, daily, and it doesn't connect it specifically to one domain. You can purchase, let's say, 1,000 credits, and you can send 1,000 different tests from 1,000 different um, domains.
I see. I
Uh,
see.
so yeah,
I can open an agency if I were you. You already have a business on it. Okay, I got it. Wow. Okay, cool. And when it's come to on the opposite side, okay, let's say like this is clear. There are some tools better to reach out to experts. But if you already have some consultancy and already at least know something and understand your goals, even consultant can suggest you what tools works better for you, whether you are operating a huge corp or you dealing with a small business. When it comes to warm up, like this is one of the most common answer, like, okay, you should start outbound, but don't forget about warm up. And sometimes people saying like every day you have to warm up, send to your friends. Would it work, and how?
Yeah, warm up and workout. That's true. So the warm up tool is again in terms of conducting the cold email outreach, it's important. It helps, and I like Google, I like Microsoft. I don't want them to hear me saying that. So the warm up is really great and important to teach those services to accept your emails more properly, right? And it helps to fix the internal reputation, because again, if you're sending from Google and your reputation is really great with Microsoft and other services, but the internal Google reputation, which means Google will not put your email to Google customers inbox, that would be a problem. So the warm up can and should fix that issue for you.
Okay.
Again, everything should be conducted in a proper manner. This is really important. And in case with the warm up, it's a lot of tricks. Actually, when we are doing the email delivery audit for our clients, we're always checking the warm up tool that clients use. We're taking some time to basically to conduct some tests on that tool to understand how the tool operates. Because again, like one of the worst ways possible, it's when you're registering with the warm up tool. The warm up tool has like other clients, and you're basically exchanging emails
In your plans.
of you, which is not good idea for so many reasons. Like not good idea. And again, having your own network of mailboxes which are generating the replies, or maybe even live people sitting there, it's much more expensive. So doing the automation using the client's mailboxes, that's like the obvious idea, but it will not work well, because first of all, from the data standpoint, you are not controlling something that is going out from your mailbox. So for people who is under the SOC or ISO or any other audits or certifications, that would be a problem. That could be a breach of certification or anything else, because you have to be in control of what you are sending, right? And let's say you purchase like the most holy tool on the planet, right? And the email that was sent from that tool, like the AI generated like something like not proper. Based on the content, you have some issues. And when you will have to file the security incident, yeah, we have something that is connected to our mailboxes. We have no hell idea what it sends. We're not checking that because it sends daily, blah, 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 and that will
Mhm.
not be good. So you will have to be like really careful with all those tools. And I presume soon some of those tools will try to, certify themselves to be
Mhm.
in compliance with all of that.
Do you have some in mind list of holy tools?
Uh,
So people
uh,
check.
like Folderly, I would recommend to try them. Not the most cheapest tool, but they're doing a good job, and the functionality of the tool is great. Uh, Currently, Snov.io have a good warm-up functionality, but again, and I think it is out at the end of this stream. We should add like the date when we're doing that, because like if tomorrow any of those companies will change their practices, we don't want to held responsible for what they're doing. But right now, people can go and check those. But it's always good to have someone. Again, I'm like not putting the advertisement for my services, but it's
Sure.
always good to have someone who will be able to help you with that.
People just want to know some overall logos expert trust as a begin for the I'm not saying there's nothing new gonna happen tomorrow. Yeah. Overall, I see that there are 10 people been in chat. Maximum we had 15. And guys and girls who don't know, I just want to let you know the only way to see comments on LinkedIn as from my mobile phone, because this system is not allowing me to check those. But I really want to hear your comments and thoughts. Please post. I will comment here. If you have any specific question to Vasyl, feel free to ask here. It's free, if I'm not mistaken. We're not
Absolutely.
going to charge you today. Uh, right. Talking about our topic, deliverability. Okay. So we define our domain. We established essential parameters for deliverability. Do you have some concrete numbers how long usually takes from the beginning? Let's say tomorrow I got a grant, 1 million euros, and I want to start something. I reach out, let's say to you or to your team, and I say I need to ramp up, infrastructure, and my approximate expectation is going to be 3 BDR sending around 40 emails a day. So it's, and you may say if it's too much, but when we can start, like how long it should take for us?
Okay. So I really like when you have like the actual number of days, minutes, or whatever, and there is a couple of cases where you actually have that. So,
Okay.
for example, right now, like default settings of Spam Assassin and a couple of other systems that are installed by default on the servers, and again, I'm talking about like the low level.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're not giving you a spam score if your email is older than a month.
Uh-huh.
So that would be something that you can use as a start net, right? And other systems, again, Google, Microsoft, and other, it's really easy to check how old your domain is, and everybody is really suspicious when your domain is young. And
Mm-hmm.
and this is happening for like a pretty long time. Right now, it's taken a month. Like probably like 6 or 7 years ago, it was like just a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's based on the statistics of that time. But like the phrase that I'm using, the domain name is like aging is like a vampire, right? The
Mm-hmm.
older you get, the stronger you get. So that's the thing. So 30 days is just to remove that score of like your domain is too young.
Mm-hmm.
But while you're waiting for that period of time is done, uh, start a small warm up, start an email activity, start, movement of data and the emails in your system,
Okay.
don't, don't do like the zero activities, conduct your normal business, because at the end, all the systems are interested to work, send and receive and filter and not filter normal business casual emails.
One note here: while starting a business, probably I have nothing, no clients potentially. Like I just ramping it. I'm not saying this is exact scenario, but yeah, I got the point. Okay, 30 days, and it's really pushed me to the idea. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if it exists. Do we have a place market when people selling their domain specifically for outreach? They like, hey, take a look, 10 years, strong enough, really, like, man, take it and go. $100 and you can do it today.
Well, 10 years old domain for $10, that would be a surprise. So almost all domain name registrators right now have that kind of marketplace.
Mhm.
The easiest example is the GoDaddy. You can log in there and you can request the brokerage services to find yourself like a certain domain name. They
Mhm.
even can help you by you imagining yourself a domain name. You're trying to check the availability and the domain is taken. They can even try to purchase that domain for you. And again, making an example on GoDaddy, but a lot of services are doing that. So yes, there is a way to purchase that domain. They're not always crazy expensive. It depends on the name. It's, for example, if your domain is x.com, you will be probably paying like millions. And if your domain is ghkloy.biz, for whatever reason you would like to have that domain, if that was registered, probably somebody is actually selling that for $10.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, that's also a good idea to purchase the domain that already exists. But again, you're starting your business, you want to move forward with not something old. You have your vision, you have your brand name, you have all that you need. So it's better to make all those preparations. If you receive for your idea $1 million, euro, pounds, I think you can allow yourself to wait a little bit to start your activities properly.
I see. Okay. So, okay, I would go probably with the longest way with those 30 days if I really have time and somebody invests this money. Okay. We warming up, doing some, you know, would you say that buying sales engagement tool and start using it from the day one, even for warm up, it's okay? Or it's better to buy it later? Like any effect from
Great,
it?
great question. So I will give you like the third option as an answer. Uh, Buy your domain first,
Mm-hmm.
then do the research on what type of sales engagement platform you need. They all similar, but they all different. And again, if you have your special vision, try to find a tool that will serve you like in the best way possible. For example, you can always purchase a sales loft and be like almost 100% customizable,
Mm-hmm.
but you will have to hit a price, right? If you want to go lower, if we're not talking about the enterprise, but something like like low end,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you should probably spend like a week or so on the research, on the demos, or again, talk to someone who can basically help you to get that, like the tool that you're actually need. But yeah, do the research.
By the way, for the sake of promoting Ukrainian one, I would say Reply.io is also a very great example of it, and it's really competing with Salesforce, with SalesLoft and Outreach. I would say they're really close to, and they're doing a really great job. In Ukraine, is
Correct.
like very yeah. But
Correct.
I still have.
Moreover,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, sorry. So moreover, the reply IO is used by a lot of services as the background
Yeah.
sequencing tool. We see that a lot. So they actually do a good service. Also, the Snow IO, another Ukrainian service, which is again doing a great job.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to like, usually I have answered like, what's better to find, not to find, what's better to start with, Apollo, Reply.io, or Snow.io, but they also sometimes Lamb list. I've never used Lemlist before, but I double checked them just before a few days ago, and I see like, well, it's pretty similar service to all the, but I thought they really, I thought they a bit cheaper. Sorry guys, but I thought like in the past they were really penetrating the market with a really low price, and when they started, it was really like crazy interesting. But now I see the really well established company and really competing with others on the same level, on a commodity level, like they almost doing same. I'm not sure if they hit dialer, but overall, yeah.
You actually make it a great point, and here's the example of what I mean when I told you like do the research what you need. Let's compare in just several functions. Again, we're not here to like compare the services, but in the Polo, you're paying for each mailbox connected, right? Create
Interesting.
account, connected mailbox. You
Okay.
don't have a lot of options with a third-party SMTP integration, right? So to have several mailboxes, you'll be paying for each and every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
In Snow.io, for example, you're paying for the amount of emails you're able to send and the amount of data you can generate from their platform.
Cool.
They don't care how many mailboxes you will connect. They don't care. Well, they have like a really like flexible way to integrate a lot of third-party services.
Okay.
I mean, email sending services, right? We're not talking about anything else. So, and here's the thing: what you prefer, what you need more. If you have a team of 10 people and you anyway need 10 people to be working in the system, the Apollo might do a great job for you. That would be a tool for you. They have like great data, all of that kind of stuff. If you have a couple of people and you want to use like the LSS, or you want to send the transactional mails and use, let's say, uh, transactional promotional mails, and you want to use a third-party SMTP, I think it would be better to go with Snow.io because they are much more flexible with that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why you have to or make research yourself or go to someone who can help you with that.
I see. You know, I want to touch base a bit with you to Castle in Canada, GDPR in Europe, and others. You know, Americans one type of GDPR, etc. So, how deliverability is connected to these things, this law protection? My question is the following: imagine you have a company which is well established and already sending maybe 7, 8 markets, so they covered everybody, Asia including, for instance. And it's a question from my side: do we really need to have separate domains for every market? Because it's different rules how it's actually people do.
Okay, great question. So again, Castle can spam act a certain portion of GDPR. GDPR is not all about the emails. It's more about like the data protection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much more broad. Let's say like this. Uh, they are similar, but they are different, right? So, what is the substance of all of those documents? They are giving people grounds to sue whoever is abusing them with the emails, data scraping, data gathering, etc., etc. Can Spam Act is specifically about emails, right? So if you are sending to different markets with different laws and you can be sued in those countries,
Yep.
you probably should use different domains, different strategies, and do whatever the laws are required. The thing is, talking in this case, I will be talking about the CAN spam of United States. A great document. I really love it. They have, first of all, the CAN spam act itself with all the additions, like a pretty big, but the Federal Trade Commission have like a special website
Mm-hmm.
in which you have, like a one pager. Do one, do two, do three, do four, do this, and you will be fine.
Yes.
Which is great, And for me, as someone who is selling the consultancy and issues fixing, that's not that great because like people will go and easy read that. But I actually happy that they have this and it's available for all the people. And it's really easy to, just read it a couple of times. It's actually one pager, but read it a couple of times. That will remove a lot of, like uh, scary ghost stories that like, okay, don't use this and that.
Mm-hmm.
It specifically said what you should and shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's just 8 points there. Right now it's 8. It was like 7, but they extended this one pager a little bit, like a year or so ago. But it's always good to stay in compliance with the law. If you can diversify, if you can separate your infrastructures, do that. Like if that will not be a financial burden, do that.
Okay, so financial can control the decision.
Well, and this is a great point. This is why CEO, Chief Information Security Officer, usually, well, not usually, by the standard, is directly under the CEO. So no one will affect the security decisions in the company. That's why it's made this way. So sometimes, and again, if we're talking about a startup, that's a one thing. Just choose the better market. If you can choose the better market, okay, use one domain for all the markets, but try to stay in compliance with all of those laws. Yes, your emails will look poorly, not poorly, not the correct phrase. It feel like not as enriched with the
Not
stuff.
juicy.
Yeah, exactly. As it could be. But overall, you can do that, right? Like even with the one domain. If you're established business, use several domains. That will be that will actually give us like some marketing flexibility. You will be able to do much more in different regions.
Mm-hmm. I see. I just recall one question I had before. We know that we need to stick to some standard of an industry, standard of a market, of an audience we're reaching out. But do you believe we have it in any place in the world, at least with not maybe concrete but flat ratios, we may use as a standard, at least at the beginning of a business, like say, hey, in aviation, your open rate, bounce rate is about XYZ, like how people can measure themselves from the very beginning when they don't know.
So there is a couple of services such as SalesLoft, for example. They are from time to time publishing the market or industry average open rates. This is like a absolutely fantastic job done by the SalesLoft. I commend them for doing it. Really helps, especially to young companies, to understand in which position you are.
Mm-hmm.
And again, each next year, some other companies releasing that. So praise the Google, and Google will help you to get that information.
Okay, I see. And going through one list to another one, spam words, what to avoid. Like, okay, I've seen tons of different small websites when I can place my email and see what words are spam words. But I actually also have a small dream to build few of them, because the ads on out around it gonna generate some MRR for me, and same time people gonna have some fun. But I cannot be sure that I can trust to the least embedded to the system. So would you suggest some trusted places to check spam words?
So there is a couple of in this case, first of all, you have to understand what the spam word means, right? And it's or sometimes they call it offending word. And in terms of the internet and the IT language, it's totally different from whatever you're using on the street or in your day-to-day life, right? Sometimes the first words is actually okay by the spam filters, but if you will try to send something like a Rolex or the price is 9.99, that
Mm-hmm.
will get your email to spam. So you have to understand from where that goes. And again, this is really easy. You can go to your spam folder of your personal old mailbox and just check whatever the most used word are, like 99%, deal, price, discount. Okay, that's not so good.
Got it.
There is a couple of absolutely free. So basically, all those services, they are a database of the words that are not recommended to use, right? So all other fancy functionality is basically something that just on top, like the sugar on top. But if you're talking about specifically excluding the words that would be offensive words for the spam filtering systems, it's just a database of words. There is a couple of services. One of my favorite, called Brotherhood Zone. A really old service, like no ads, no nothing, just a form when you can like put your text in to basically compare your text against the database of the words that it has. A lot of other a lot of other tools that are providing the same analysis. Some of them are actually giving, like the
Rather good zone. You said this one?
yeah. Let me. I can drop you a link after.
Yeah, please. I mean, it's really exciting that there are some specific, from the very past period of time when we know there are some forums that still exist, and there are always some good content on site. I don't think it's forum, but overall, it may be really changing to me because I never heard about this one.
Oh,
Even though,
it's old school, like
okay,
probably as old as me, maybe.
I got it. Okay. I see. Aha. Yeah. Give me a second. I will post in chat so to engage a bit it.
Cool. And while you're doing that, I want to add one more thing that we passed somehow. So everybody knows about the internal reputation of Google, internal reputation of Microsoft, the obviously the blacklists of the domain names, the blacklists of the IP addresses. But there is also one more thing that people usually don't remember, don't take it in account, which is actually like a great thing. When we're talking about the Barracuda, Mimecast, Proofpoint, Cisco Talos, Sophos, etc., those guys are also having their filter systems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might be thinking like, okay, Barracuda, Cisco, Cisco, we know Cisco makes routers, right? Probably. Like how terrible or how important they are. Well, the Cisco has like the biggest amount of network equipment in the world. They are doing traffic filtering from the time when, I don't know, I was walking under the table on my tool. So they are filtering that, and they have their own databases. So when you're registering the domain, or you are starting the business, or you already have your business, my recommendation would be go to those services, or again, go to someone who can do that for you, for people to get your reputational metrics from Barracuda, Proofpoint, Mimecast, Cisco Talos, etc. That will help you a lot with the email delivery. And I can make a short example. I don't want to take like much time about that. We had a client that approached us and told us, okay, like we're doing the outreach, we're like not seeing the expected results. Can you do us an audit? And the company is 10 years old, 10 years old, and they are a law service, basically a law firm. And in Barracuda, their domain name was categorized as shopping.
So whatever they do, it's
to be honest, no one knows how it was marked as shopping. It was certain activity, it was a scan, it was something, but they were marked as shopping. The thing is that you want to be in the proper category, because you're reaching out to a certain category of people, and they might not be receiving like a shopping emails, promotional emails, or something like that. So that's another really important part.
Yep, I see. Because as I understand, all the systems going to treat you as a shopping company, like,
Exactly, exactly,
and they use
absolutely.
the vocabulary based on you and all. So I can imagine, like, it's better for shopping to be treated as a law firm than vice versa, to be honest.
Absolutely. But it's nothing bad to be that's like a green zone for shopping. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's better to be a law firm for shopping.
And how it went? So is it possible to change it later?
Yes, so it is. You can file the request. Depends on if you're the customer of Barracuda or any other service, or you are like the partnering with that company. They will reply or fix or analyze that issue in a different time frame. They have their policies in place. What will be the time frame for dealing with everything?
Mm.
Uh, for the certified people, it might take like faster. For like you can go and do it yourself, like no problem, but that might take a little bit longer. But it's anyway a good idea to check that.
I believe so, especially being a lawyer in a shopping category. I mean, you never know. Now it's even, you hook me and people with a curiosity. Okay, so what my website is actually at, where we where we are.
I I can actually give you another example. We worked with one big BPO company, and one of their domains were marked as advocacy NGO.
Wow, such a granular segmentations they have, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and trust me, there is like a huge segment of like something that where you don't want to.
Yeah, I see. Do they have something regarding betting and casino?
Absolutely, absolutely, and all sorts of crime activities. So if you're got in that category, like your business with the emails is dead.
Probably easier to buy a new domain.
Yes, which leads us to another thing. Uh, the analytics of those systems can make a connections from your old domain to your new domain.
Ah,
If
it
you
really is.
Yeah,
Okay.
so and again, here we need to be a little bit more specific because like okay, they're so smart and great, and you're still getting spam from like the Nigerian prince who is dying and have like a bunch of diamonds, like the usual story that scammers using to scam people for their money. Um, but the thing is, if you're a legitimate business,
Okay.
if you're conducting activities, you cannot just have one infrastructure with like certain text, certain marketing approach, certain pictures, certain this and that, and if you will receive a problem with the category, just drop all of that and go another way. In that case, if you have that problem, it's 100% better to go to someone who can fix that for you, because you will have to spend much more just to rebuild it. Like that the rebuilding is not even the way, right?
I see your point. Okay. So it's more cost efficient to try solve it on an existing place rather than switching and thinking that we're gonna solve it. Okay, and one thing I really come curious after all we talk. So we started with outbound outreach. It's really the topic, right? However, I come to conclusions that, hey, wait a minute, but deliverability is not ending with this, and actually, many businesses are surviving because inbound, if not live in reach, right? And outbound is a piece of it, like 30%, 20, it depends. So, how deliverability or your domain actually affecting your advertisement and inbound overall? Like, do you see any connection how it's affecting? And if yes, what should do small business when it's just ramping up, starting some, I don't know, target, retarget, and ads? What they should take into consideration?
I will have an easy answer for you. So the good reputation with Google will bring you more traffic, will bring more of your emails to the inbox. The bad reputation with Google will do the opposite. Same with the Microsoft, same with other major players. So even if you're living on the inbound,
Mhm.
it is always good to have a good reputation of your business, because if you will have like any issues with the Google, it will not be just the emails and the Gmail. You will have a problem with your search position.
Okay. I come up to conclusion when I work with some startups that usually there's nobody at the very beginning, maybe later when a company become really good one and like established. But at the beginning, there is nobody responsible clearly for these things. And when you ask, okay, do you have some IT guy who at least double checking whether you're good or not? Usually people say no, we're fine. We did some consultancy. We know that we're in a good position today, so it looks fine, and nobody checking this. But they invest in money in ads, they buy in some advertisement, etc. And from my perspective, there should be some thing to fix it out, maybe or service, or it's always should be a person to take in charge of it, to at least once a month say, hey guys, you're good. Keep going.
Correct. Correct. You're absolutely correct. That's a great idea. This is actually something that we're doing. We can just, like run the casual checks like monthly, like bi-weekly or something like that.
Mhm.
If you're not doing like a lot of emails, that will cost you like basically nothing. But like monthly or bi-weekly, you will have your reports on your situation, and it is always good to have that because again, you're investing in the advertisement. The advertisement is usually based on your domain name, and if you're doing something better with your domain name, then you will have rebuilt all of that. So just from the security standpoint, it's
Mm,
much cheaper to keep track of that rather than lose the domain or invest in the huge revalidation or like rebuild stuff. So from the security standpoint, that's the absolutely good way.
got it. Okay. So you see, we already done 1 hour and three and counting minutes. I believe we covered the majority of questions for these specific topics, not to uncover upcoming maybe events. I'm double checking my comments here. I see no more questions from the audience. Guys, girls, if you want to ask, is this your last chance for the last minute before we go? I'm gonna even do some music loud for a sec, and again, I will switch to the next. Yeah. Okay. As I understand, Vasily, you're allowing us to reach out to you in case, right? So your
Absolutely.
account is open. So knock on
Feel
the
free.
door, and you will find the answer in the best way you can't even imagine. Vasily, I really want to say thank you for this event, and so for those all the insights you provided, for from scratch, just for some different segmentations. I personally find out a few insights that I'm gonna bring back to my company, Royaltics. And yeah, oh, I see there is one guy who went through that. Amazing. Let's do the donation, and thank you, team, for it. Okay, see you next streams, and we will stay with Vasily right after the stream for a few. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you